People love my wine salt. It's the perfect Napa Valley homemade gift. It's so easy, you can do this at home. The first step is to take a bottle of wine and I reduce it down to 3 tablespoons. It becomes like a syrup. But be sure you use a wine that you love because the flavor is going to be very concentrated once you reduce it. So I've got my reduced wine and a coarse salt. You can use kosher salt, Maldon salt, whatever your favorite coarse salt is. I mix it in. And then you just want to make sure that you coat all of the salt so there's no more white. The amount of salt that you use really depends on the color. I kind of like my wine salt to be on the darker side, so more ruby than pink. So you just mix it up until it is evenly coated. And if you're going to use a Maldon salt, this will mix quicker because it's kind of a flat, thin salt. The coarse salt will take a little bit longer to absorb. So this looks pretty good. So after you've got all the salt mixed with the wine, I like to use a baking sheet because it's shallow and it lets the salt dry evenly. So I just put it on the baking sheet and I spread it evenly. Drying time depends on where you live. If you live in a humid climate, it'll take a little bit longer to dry. For me in California, it takes about a week. But what I do is I'll just leave this baking sheet on the dining room table with the spatula. So every time I pass it, I just turn it, I toss it to make sure that it's drying evenly. My wine salt is dry. It's a nice, deep, rich ruby red, which is why I use red wine. I like to give my salt as gifts. So I buy glass spice jars. You can find some to fit your budget, or you can use muslin bags. Very budget friendly. I use a funnel to fill the spice jar. It takes more than you think it takes, so sort of halfway through, I will tamp it down. That way you get more in there, better gift. That should do it. And I use this salt on steaks, on chicken, pasta sauces, and anything that you want to use red wine and salt in. Enjoy.